All right, guys, how we doing today? Welcome to Montez at midday, being brought to you by our title sponsor, the Weed Squad. We're on the road today. We're in downtown Bell Vegas. We're at Cosmic Comics and Collectibles, located at 132 West Main. To get a complete listing of the sponsors, feel free to visit dremontez.com and hit the sponsor tab, and you get a listing of all the sponsors right there. If it's your first time tuning in, thank you so much. There's several ways you can follow the show on our social media platforms. We're on Facebook. We have a page, Who's to Blame? Instagram, Who's to Blame the Podcast. Twitter, at W2B Dre Montez. As well as on YouTube, we have a channel, Dre Montez, as well. We do the live streaming of Montez at midday on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. But you can also get a listen of our latest podcast episode where we discuss the Major League Baseball 2021 season. It is up there wherever you get your podcast at. We're on Podbean, SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, and Google Play as well for your listening pleasure. So there it is. It is What It Do Wednesday, Wild Wednesday. And what was going on with the weather yesterday? Before we get into that, high fives, chest bump, let's hug it out. If you're celebrating a birthday today, happy birthday to you. Anniversary, happy anniversary to you. If you just accomplished something, congratulations, you deserve it. And if you're working towards something and you need that little affirmation, you got this. There it is right there. There it is right there. But the weather yesterday was interesting on so many levels. The fact it was 420, by the way, happy 420 to everyone that celebrated or had something to do on a 420 day. So happy 420 day. But got the Oscars. So we're going to get a lot of people talking about things. We hope they know what they're talking about. We hope that they're right. But in the back of our mind, we also got our little own thoughts on what's going to transpire this Sunday night with the Oscars, as well as next week with the NFL draft. But prior to that, there's some streaks going on I really want to discuss in the world of sports. I mean, when you're on a streak, you're feeling good. I mean, that's a good thing. We all been a part of losing streaks or bad streaks, having 5 consecutive dates and you barely get a kiss on the cheek. That's what I'm talking about when it comes to a streak. And then some have been on hot streaks when it comes to dating. You've been on 5 consecutive dates and you've managed to close the deal on all of them. Congratulations to you. But in the sports world, you have the Oakland A's are experiencing a 10-game winning streak. I don't care what level of baseball you like or don't like. When it comes to the Oakland A's, you always want to pay extra close attention. Is it because of the uniforms? Is it because of the history with that sports franchise? But it's something about the Oakland A's that always has me locked in and focused in. And the fact they got a 10-game winning streak. There it is right there. In women's college softball, you had Oklahoma University on the path of a 40-game win streak, but it was snapped. A 40-game win streak in women's softball, in today's softball, that's something that should be recognized. Also on that streak right there as well, you have the Brewers pitcher, Corbin Burns, 4-0, has 40 Ks. First time that a pitcher has started off this hot. He's 4-0 with 40 Ks and no walks. You talk about a streak. Now, I'm quite sure you probably got a nice streak out there going on in your everyday life, your home life, your personal life, your intramural sports world. Maybe you're doing something amazing through gambling. Let us know. Let us know. What are you on a streak on? I'm fascinated by the streaks in sports. For one, there's always superstition behind the streak. Either they're not doing it anymore, everybody's locked in and wrapped up into it when it comes to the streak. That's what you can think about it though, but think about streaks in sports or in the workplace. You've been meeting your sales quota for 5 consecutive months. You're on a hot streak right now. You're that deal, and in the sports sense, you can be on that deal as well. It's just like in Hollywood when Quentin Tarantino came up with them 10 hits in a row and just put him on a whole new level when it comes to the Hollywood hot man. There it is right there. We're going to take a short break. We're in downtown Bell Vegas at Cosmic Comics and Collectibles located at 132 West Main. Come on, man, and buy something if you're in the area and say hello. Going to take a short break right here, okay? All right back.
Mountain Man Screw. As smooth as a river flows. Mountain Man Screw.
Everybody think they're going to know what they're talking about. And that's the beauty of the draft to me. You get to find that hidden gem, see if you can locate it. The I told you so factor about a player that you heard about maybe 2 years ago that was not even on the radar, but now has climbed the charts on the radar, possibly been a household name come next week. But there are other avenues of the draft I want to take a peek at, and that is the draft position. What's going to be the hot position everybody wants to go after? Yeah, but the quarterback is that deal. It really is that deal position to have. Some people have it, some people don't. We're talking talent for the game, arm strength versus football IQ. All of those are going to be used, and we're going to hear a lot of those different phrases next week. But prior to this, those names that are climbing the charts, those high-profile positions that we thought were going to be on point, the position we think they should go after. I got a funny feeling that the receiver, the quarterback, the offensive tackles, and defensive backs are going to be like the main positions people go after. You know, we've had great classes at running back, quarterback position, just overall Hall of Famers being a part of the draft, realizing it 10, 15 years later. But the wide receiving core that's coming out, I'm impressed. I am really impressed with the receiving core that's coming out of here. Usually we don't see that guy that has the ability to stretch the field, to be that dependable at a young age, that's ready to come in here and do work, who has been doing work, who has actually been preparing for the draft, not the night before, but probably 2 years of players like that. And they're big of players like that. And they're big too. The type players are starting to come out again. We're about to see them long-legged receivers again that can really get down the field. And I'm looking forward to it. But also we noticed we want to protect our investment at the quarterback. So you need to go on the offensive tackle side. You need somebody to protect the blind side, as we learned years ago about Joe Theismann, about that other offensive acquisition at a position player that could be an offensive tackle to protect the backside. That's key. You got to protect the investment. If you don't believe me, let's talk to Joe Burrow. Let's talk to Tua Tagovailoa. Let's talk to these people who have been affected by poor, horrible decisions made by the GM, the head coach, the team president when it comes to protecting their backside. They have not been doing a good job at it. But hopefully, what transpired the last 2 seasons with the future of an NFL franchise, that being a quarterback, how many times they've been hit, where they've been get hit at, and what position and what side it's coming from, where are they weak at, where they hurting at, and where they need to improve at. Hopefully they have been paying attention to that, because we can tell what every 2 years when we watch a 30 for 30 on which team screwed up with their draft pick. It's like if we have a draft board at home, why don't they have a draft board at home as well? X's and O's. You go down the line on your whole roster. Who do we lose? Who's 32 plus? Who are we trying to keep? Who must we get what we want out of them this year? And what could we possibly bring in? That's ideally how it should go. But you look at some of these teams and you wonder and say to yourself, what in the hell is going on with this franchise in the front office? Sometimes it's not just the players. It's the people picking the players. And I think another overused phrase